really excited that the contracting process is now finished, and we've got a team that has been selected and ready to take on the challenge of competing in Super Rugby season next year. We've got some good selections in terms of some young guys coming through. Our youngest player being Lima Sopawanga, who played this year in the EBC, and 19-year-old. Really looking forward to working with him. And I guess another comparison with that is Jamie McIntosh, who's our new captain. Been with Holland for 3 years, but now has that opportunity and challenge to take the team forward. I've always enjoyed Dunedin and Otago in general. Deep South, I've always enjoyed the Blue Cod as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Like key signings for us, we've got a good mixture of youth and experience, but I think all the key signings, I think Nick Barrett's a key signing, a young man that we picked out of Southland to come in and help develop and part of our front row program. Another key signing would be Joe Wheeler. Joe, I think, played really well for Tasman, and he gives us a balance between the loose forward and the lock. Another key signing would be Tom Marshall, the young Tasman fullback. He's certainly a young, exciting player. Obviously, Israel Dag is another one. He's a great acquisition for us. Another key signing is Sonny Will Williams, of course. He gets his first time to be a Crusader, and but I feel like we've got a good squad. We've got some young guys coming for the very first time. Young Tyler Blundell, so he was with the under-20s. He's the first 5, so he's a good young key signing. And we went to the draft really to fill our prop, halfback situation. We picked up another locker, Luke Romano, who I thought has had a great campaign for Canterbury this year, and obviously the evergreen Jonathan Pop comes into that mix. So I feel we've got a good enough depth right across our squad. No, I think that you'll approach every game the same, but the difference being is obviously the conference model. You've got to win your conference to go forward, and if you don't, you're basically a wildcard entry, and that has huge ramifications. But I think like in every year, obviously everyone wants to win, and there's no doubt that we enter this competition hopeful that we can win it, and we feel that we've got the best team possible. But when we look at the other franchises, they're just within New Zealand, they've got really good squads. It's going to be a war of attrition. I think it's going to come down to very much on the day. It's going to create some new pressures for this competition because everything's going to be on the line, but it's what the best competition in the world should be like. It should be tough, and we're hopeful that we can have a good season.
Well, we've got 7 new players in the Hurricanes this year, so really exciting. I mean, we've got quite an experienced side, but to have those 7 new guys is fantastic. We'll just talk about a couple of them anyway. Michael Bent from Taranaki, tight end prop. He was in our wider training group last year, so he's been really exciting. He's had a great year. He's worked under Coops in Taranaki, so we see big things for Benty, and to be able to work alongside Nemi Tialata will be a great experience for him. If I mentioned a couple of other players, Charlie Nartai, centre, originally from Gisborne, so they'll be pretty stoked to see a Gisborne boy in there. We've selected 1 draft player. We've selected Jack Lamb. Now we've been excited about Jack all year. Jack came into contention after unfortunately we had an injury to Carl Lowe. Now Lowe should be ready by the end of April, so that'll be exciting at the end of this competition, which does run longer. We're going to have to the attrition rate in that position can sometimes be quite heavy, so it'll be good to have him back. But obviously Jack's an exciting player. He's played very well for Waikato this year, so that's the draft player we've brought in. I suppose my perspective is, my philosophy is not so much rugby based. All New Zealand Super Rugby players know how to play the game. And Hurricanes are a very, very exciting team. They always have been. I think for me, it's more off-field. I'm a massive believer in that your on-field standards are a reflection of your off-field standards. So for me, it's about creating an environment and a culture, a real team culture. So in other words, more giving than receiving, and so we'll work hard at that. We're going to have a camp at the beginning of the year, and we want to really put a lot of emphasis on that, from management right through to players, and develop a culture that we're really proud of, a culture that we want people to come back to and to talk about, and to really enhance our brand. And I've sort of stayed in touch with Cooch for a long time, and certainly one of the big parts of this year was to grab his knowledge, understand where he felt he he did really well where he felt that he wanted to make improvements and where he thought I could with my skills. So we spent a lot of time with him. Obviously, we try and get round all our ITM coaches, and we also try and get round to our Heartland teams as well. And so just, you know, a lot of this early part for me has been around building those relationships and just sort of, I talk a lot about big ears and small mouths, so just lots of listening and just seeing what has been going on, because obviously, you know, I want to bring in my flavour, but it's not about, you know, throwing at the kitchen sink. It's just about you know, making changes in the appropriate areas.
Yeah, well, it's been interesting with the new process. You know, it's enabled us to sort of contract players earlier on as part of the franchise contracting. So, you know, we've been able to get in like Isaac Ross, Hayden Triggs, Scotty Waldrum as sort of key acquisitions, particularly in that tight area of our game. I think it was a real challenge for us, the New Zealand franchises for next year, us included, to two South African teams in the final last year. You know, they've set a good mark, the Bulls and the Stormers, and we're all chasing that, trying to do this country proud. So, and you know, after today, it's really a matter of giving the players a bit of a break for a few weeks and then climbing into what will be an important pre-season going into a longer campaign.